Pakistan provoked yet again, violating the truce hours after India announced a ceasefire agreement had been reached with Pakistan following Islamabad's initiation of truce talks. Pakistan violated the truce and launched artillery shelling and drone activity along the international border and line of control in multiple locations. India responded swiftly, though decisively, neutralizing the threat. Indian forces are currently monitoring the situation and have been asked to respond to Pakistan's provocations strongly. Under Operation Sindhur, Indian forces carried out precision strikes, destroying Pakistani Air Force bases at several locations on Saturday. As Pakistan military actions raised global concerns, questions emerge: is the Pakistan army defying its own government?
For the last few hours, there have been repeated violations of the understanding arrived at earlier this evening between the Directors General of Military Operations of India and Pakistan. This is a breach of the understanding arrived at earlier today. The armed forces are giving an adequate and appropriate response to these violations, and we take very, very serious notice of these violations. We call upon Pakistan to take appropriate steps to address these violations and deal with the situation with seriousness and responsibility. The armed forces are maintaining a strong vigil on the situation. They have been given instructions to deal strongly with any instances of a repetition of the violations of the borders along the international border as well as the line of control.
After days of military conflict that put the world on the edge, India and Pakistan agreed to a ceasefire which was initiated by the neighbor itself. But violations were seen, and hence no one, Asim, is really trusting Pakistan at this point in time. Give us a sense of how areas have been put on red alert. The truce, of course, has come into effect from 5 p.m. but almost immediately after that, 5 p.m. yesterday, but almost immediately after that, we saw a series of violations, isn't it?
Pakistan has always stayed a kind of a nursery of terrorism. You have seen how Pakistan has backed big terrorists, how it has backed the terror camps, and it has always stood exposed globally. Well, as far as Amritsar is concerned, Amritsar is still put on red alert. By and large, the night was very peaceful. Entire blackout was there. Although the people talked that there were some explosions early morning, couple of explosions, but the administration suddenly put out a message around 4:30 first. Now again at around 5:30, 5:24, that Amritsar is under red alert. People are advised not to go out and stay indoors. But by and large, things remained peaceful and calm as compared to a day before. Well, as far as the border is concerned, as Punjab shares a long 553-kilometer border with Pakistan, the troops are on a very, very high alert. They're maintaining a very high vigil, be it the Atari sector, Amritsar sector, or the Gurdaspur region. So overall, things have basically downsized after the ceasefire. But Pakistan is not trustworthy, as the reports came in that it violated ceasefire at many places, and India has taken a tough stand against it. So even we went to the Golden Temple too, and after the ceasefire, and people were happy about the development. But they also said that we cannot trust Pakistan. So overall, situation is peaceful over here as of now.
All right, Kamal also continues to be with us. Kamal, in fact, we've seen violations on the part of Pakistan. Talk to us about the kind of precautions that India is obviously taking, given that the country can't be trusted. Pakistan has, at the end of the day, resorted to shelling along the LOC at multiple locations just after the ceasefire was announced, isn't it?
Well, with an adversary like Pakistan, one never can actually afford to let the guards down, and that is what we actually saw, that as soon as the ceasefire was announced, there was jubilation, especially amongst people who were living along line of control and international border. But yes, as far as India's preparation is concerned, remember they showed extreme restraint because remember, as far as messaging is concerned, Pakistan continued to violate for a couple of hours. There was surprise entry of drones. There was also shelling done, especially even in locations where I am standing. And this is where what is of concern is Pakistan's consistency. Is in violating ceasefire violations, and this is a ceasefire, and this is where also what we know is that the truce may only be temporary, because what we've seen is even in the past, once the truce is made, you know, in a couple of months again firing happens. Like Ashraf was pointing out that in Nagrota there was a firing attempt, especially at the Nagrota camp. The terrorists were fired upon. They fled in the darkness. But meanwhile, this seems to be a strategy because Pakistan has always ensured a low intensity conflict by sending in non-state actors. So in the past, what we've seen is by activating Hizbul Mujahideen, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed. They have been pumping in not only radicalized youth, but also providing weapons, support system. POK is safe haven for these terror organizations. And that is why India had to go for the jugular. The strikes on terror camps took place. Several of the top terrorists were killed, and what information now we have that over 100 terrorists were killed in those airstrikes.